Hi, I'm Steve with Squeaklights. I'm going to be giving you an introduction to what a basic builder is in Mercury and how you can use it. So I just want to give a basic rundown of what the heck a basic builder is. So what is a builder when it comes to x-lazer? So each builder you can kind of consider to be a moving light. It has pan, it has tilt, it has RGB color mixing, and just like anything else that has RGB, you can't just make saturates. You can make pastels like a CTO or a limelight color, like a light lavender, pink, peachy tones, colors that you don't normally see out of lasers. So each builder also has a color effect or color map or color macro, depending on how you call it. I always call it a color map that defines what two colors, because you can have two colors per builder, how they're laid out. So this is just a simple left-right. And then you can also have gradients, not hard cuts. So this is a left to right fade gradient, center out gradient, all kinds of different banding that you can have. And then, yeah, you can really have whatever two colors you want. And you can also do color effects on each color within a single builder. So this is just a single builder running color effects on two color parts of that builder. So you also have what is called a post color map, and that lets you map the entire output region of the laser. So here we can see that I have like a bluish color up top and a reddish color down bottom, and it's kind of moving between those two on the color map. And that was a fade. This is a horizontal split. So you can see on the left, it's blue. On the right, it's red. And then there's also radial color maps. So like a center out, like circular color map. This looks really good with a pan effect like this. You're moving through it. Each builder also has a myriad of different Gobo patterns available. All kinds of different stuff, circles, lines with dots on them. Here's 3 different lines spread around a circle, basically. These are all that I'm showing you just a single Gobo. So this is actually just one Gobo pattern that you can recall. There's folders of different Gobos within the builder. You also have rotation like you would normally expect out of a moving light. You can also, with multiple builders, because each laser can have up to 8, layer 2 Gobos together and then do different movement effects on each of those builders to get stuff like this. So that's 2 different Gobos on top of each other. One of them is rotating, the other's panning back and forth. This is what that looks like without the rotation or the pan effect. That's just 2 Gobos simultaneously outputting from the same source, and 2 different colors as well. You're also able to index your Gobos. So you can take and do an index type instead of a continuous rotation. There's 2 different channels for that. There's a channel for index and there's a channel for rotate. There's also Gobos, I guess you could call them that, with movement built in. So here's one example of that. Here's another example. Now, no good moving light is complete without a prism. So this has pretty much every kind of prism you could ask for. Since they're all digitally created, you've got any linear you could want, any grid, circle, they're all here. And you can rotate those as well. So here is a multi-point prism rotating. Now, with the Gobos on each prism, you can actually offset the rotation of the Gobos individually. So I can take and use that rotation offset per facet channel to get something like this instead of all the lines being horizontal. Then I can rotate that. You can also individually change the horizontal and vertical spread of these things. And you can even overlap the horizontal and vertical spread and then rotate that and then modulate the spread on the X or Y or both to give you some really unique effects coming. Again, this is all using one builder. Now, something you usually see in lasers is like a classic liquid sky effect with a little bit of motion to it. Mercury has a whole set of motion effects built right into it. So here's a few of those. You can control the density, the speed, and the height all separately, so you can define whatever you want that motion effect to be. And there's a whole bunch of other motion effects in there, so you can really dig deep in those. But here's the thing, you've got up to 8 builders per laser. So you can really consider that to be 8 scanners, if you will, emanating from the same point. 8 moving heads emanating from the same point, which is the aperture of the laser. And so you can run whatever traditional console effects you want on those builders. You can do intensity, you can do movement, you can combine all that together and make some really cool stuff. You can do individual fanned effects on your zoom channel for X and Y independently. You can do whatever color effects you would normally do on, let's say you're used to like, batten fixtures where you have a whole bunch of elements in a row. Well, this is basically the same thing, except they can all have their own gobo, their position, their color, everything separate. You can get some really interesting stuff when you do the 2 color parts of each builder separately. So now I'm just running an effect on the 1 color part between cyan and black. And you can do color effects on both color parts at the same time. So this is an effect on each color part separately, running at different speeds, doing the kind of stuff that you would think about doing on a batten fixture, but it gets an entirely new look when it's coming out of a laser. You can do, let's say, a sawtooth wave with no reaction time for the light to get back to its starting point. So all this is doing, let's say you have, a traditional ramp plus or ramp minus wave, you can do that with 0 time because the next instance is just going to jump back to wherever you tell it to be because it's all on a digital output. You can spread that out and get some really cool effects. Here's that same kind of look with points, a very traditional laser look. Here's with a background as well as a 2-facet prism on 7 of the builders per unit. One other really cool thing you can do when you got your different color instances is run something like this, which gets you really beautiful soft edges to a laser, which is something you normally don't see. I'm doing a separate intensity effect on the 2 different color parts to get this look. And then I'm also applying one of Mercury's inbuilt movement waves on top of that as well. So I hope this has let you know a little more what a builder means and all the different features it has when it comes to x-lazer Mercury.